and he's not concerned, just like most choker dogs, about clear cutting and exporting raw logs. But he can't help thinking about a friend that he knew who was killed on the job at just 22. I was starting to write folk songs about my family history in coal mining and logging, and my own experience as a logger in a logging camp. And I put out an album called Coal and Wood Revisited, and one day I just strung them together chronologically, and that's where the idea for making them into a performance piece came from. Well, the stories are the songs, and my great-grandfathers, two of them, both of my dad's grandfathers, were coal miners, and then my grandpa and my dad and I were all loggers, so 4 generations of John Gogo should tell the stories. Sam Wardle was a family man. He had to take what he could earn. He knew that something wasn't right, but he could not voice concern. Complainers will be discharged. The mine inspector laughed, and the bosses got the profits, and the miners got the shaft. It was a really interesting process. I knew my grandfather, and he was a very stoic man, a man of few words. I'm glad that you met my father. He doesn't often talk a lot. No mention of the strikes or the disasters or the broken back he got. He's never been one for complaining. Those old-timers are like that, of course. In fact, he keeps his mouth shut louder than anyone. Mostly, he talks to his horse. So his character was pretty easy to develop, and I had sort of free rein with my great-grandfather because he died 15, 20 years before I was even born, so I never knew the man. But I knew that he had come from the old country, and so I did a little bit of an accent, Hungarian or Austrian accent. And with poor pay and in deadly conditions, these miners were far from content. Then they organized a peaceful strike, strings were pulled and the militia was sent. Evictions from company housing, blackballed in neighboring towns. Ruthless, uncompromising, as vindictive as it sounds. Meanwhile, back in Nanaimo, a man named tried to make him a little bit funny, or at least he thinks he's funny. They call me Old Johnny Gogo. I am a bohunk, I am told. I have yet reached my 54th year. It is my back and my lungs that are old. The biggest challenge was portraying my father. John's what they named me too, except they call me Kenny. Well, Kenneth, but Ken will do. I always had a great admiration for my dad, and I thought he was a really funny guy, so I wanted to make him sort of jolly and funny, and I found it to be a bit of a daunting task to step into his shoes. John went to work on DeCourcy Island, Clarence to Northwest Bay, falling, bucking, yarding, loading, hauling logs away. Well, it was hard work and dangerous, but neither man was belly aching. With so many out of work, it was a living they were making. As I was completing the writing process of the show, I realized that it's all well and fine to be sort of celebrating my heritage and my background, my family, but then I started to think about, well, what about all the people that weren't as fortunate? It was all well and fine for us European folks to come over here and do what we do and what we did, and there wasn't much consideration for the people that were already here. It's the culmination of everything I've done in my performing career in singing and writing and acting. I hope to perform it for as long as I continue to perform, not exclusively, but I hope to take it across Canada, definitely around British Columbia. So far, I have performed it in lots of community halls and a couple of small theaters, and it's designed to go anywhere. A lot of old ladies drag their husbands out, their husbands who were formerly loggers, and the last thing that these old guys want to do is go to a show where there's singing and storytelling, but once they get here and see the show, it's quite moving for them, and they usually line up to speak to me afterwards, and what they really want to do is tell me their own stories about logging, and it's a very moving experience for them, even though they didn't want to go in the first place.